everybody, this is Guark, and this is my reaction to my 2025 predictions I made. Jesus Christ, there's some awful ones in here. I am so sorry. Apparently I'm brain dead. But anyway, first up in the constructors, last up was was Alpine. I put Haas because apparently I'm an idiot. I was really predicting that Haas would do the same in 2021, just give up on their 2025 car, put everything into 2026. But no, it turns out Alpine's just utter, we're only 37 seconds in, utter bad. You know what word I'm trying to say here. But yeah, they were terrible. Cross, Frank Colapinto and Jack Doohan especially terrible. Pierre Gasly was But no, especially the number 2 driver in Alpine, which did change after, was it 4 races? So yeah, they were terrible. I thought it would be Haas, especially with Behrman. I underrated Behrman apparently. But number 9 was Sauber. I put Sauber. I knew they were on a comeback. We saw that Qatar race in 2024, and I said, they are back for 2025. And you better believe we got that correct. Gabriel Bortoleto, wait, was he the F2 champion? I think he was the F2 champion. So I said he's going to perform well. Nico Hulkenberg, I'm going to be honest, was not expecting a podium, but I thought he'd do well. He did do well. We're pretty goated, and I will take that win. Thank you very much. 1 correct. Oh my god, we're terrible. But yeah, there's not really much else to talk about with Sauber. So on to number 8, where I said V-Carb and it was Haas. V-Carb were really good, especially Isaac Hadjar. Really, really good. And I think Sonoda in the first 3 races before he got the move up was really, really good as well. Don't really have a comment on it, to be fair. Alpine was pretty... Alpine Haas was pretty average. I really thought they'd do worse. But on to number 7 is Aston Martin. I said Williams. I genuinely thought Aston Martin would be good this year. I know they were saving for 2026. I forgot what year it was. I knew they were saving for 2026. Adrian Newey, but I at least thought they would have something for this year. But no, they were terrible. Especially when in the first 10 races, Lance Stroll was the better driver. But Williams really shocked me, to be fair. Number 6 then is V-Carb. I said Alpine. I don't even want to comment on this. Like, what? You're telling me? I said Alpine to be fucking 6th. 6th place for Alpine. You're having me on, right? I don't know what in meth I was on. What, like, was there cocaine in my brain or something? But yeah, anyway. Number 5, I said Aston Martin. It was actually Williams. I got them the wrong way round. Don't really have a comment on it, to be fair. I genuinely thought Aston Martin would be way better. I didn't think Williams would be as good. And to be honest, we should have seen the Alpine downfall incoming. It's pretty upsetting knowing that I'm this bad at predicting. But you can't really make comments on it, can you? I mean, Carlos Sainz was excellent. I knew he was just coming from Ferrari, but like, I didn't think he'd be that good coming from Ferrari, especially because in fact Albon's been there longer. But on to number 4, we have the top 4 teams now. It was Ferrari. I put Mercedes. Mercedes genuinely had a rocket ship. I think if it wasn't for Verstappen having the pace that he did and actually being in a title fight, I genuinely think Mercedes had the second fastest car this year. Apparently I didn't think that at the start of the year. Instead, it was Ferrari that came 4th. I overrated Ferrari as hell, bro. We'll get onto that when my prediction for Ferrari comes up. But yeah, Kimi Antonelli, I thought would be a little bit of a roadblock with Mercedes. I knew George Russell would be good, which is actually quite surprising because I thought Kimi Antonelli would do well. I just wasn't expecting that well, if you know what I mean. That well. Like, was it 2 or 3 podiums he had? Something like that? He was insane. Meanwhile, Ferrari, who has a 7.5-time world champion, and the man who lost his father has won the Monaco Grand Prix, both in their squad. I genuinely thought Ferrari would actually do something this year, you know. One final hurrah until the new regs come out. So, that's the best I can comment on it. Ferrari had way better drivers, but they were just such a terrible car. Number 3 then, we put Red Bull. It was Red Bull. Really, really easy with that one. Honestly, looking back on it, if I knew Tsunoda was going to be put into that car, I probably would have put Red Bull to be second. I'm not even going to lie about that. Because I really thought Tsunoda would do well in that car, and apparently he didn't. The second seat curse continues, and it probably still will, unfortunately enough for Hadjar. But yeah, like, you're telling me, like, Max Verstappen was in a championship fight in the 3rd fastest car via the Constructors' Championship. I don't believe it. Like, actually, I don't believe it. I don't think that a 3rd place car would be in the championship fight, especially when you have such a good Mercedes and, apparently, according to my bloody head, such a good Ferrari. And I'm not going to comment about that McLaren, Jesus Christ. But yeah, single-handedly because of Verstappen, Red Bull is up there, but also single-handedly because Tsunoda wasn't there, Red Bull is in 3rd. So that's another point for me. So yeah, I will be taking that and take these other predictions lightheartedly. I do not want to be attacked in the comments, please. But on to number 2, where we have Mercedes, who came second. I said Ferrari. Oh my god. Once again, it's just one of them things I can't comment, and I went into it a little bit on the last one, but I really thought an 8-time world champion plus Charles Leclerc. I said 8. Oh my god, I'm a Verstappen fan. I just said 8. 2007 was a scam. Fernando Alonso, you knew what you did in that Hungary pit stop. Anyway, yeah, a 7-time world champion and Charles Leclerc, both in a car that won, was it 5, 6 races last season? I really thought that Ferrari would be really good. And it was just god awful. It's laughable. Unfortunately for the Tifosi, it is laughable. Meanwhile, Mercedes, I mean, I don't even know how to comment on that Mercedes. It was genuinely rapid. And it's really hard to believe that if both McLarens, if just one of the drivers wasn't as capable, Mercedes probably would have won the Constructors. But unfortunately had 2 championship protagonists. But in first place, of course, is McLaren. I said McLaren. It was a pretty easy prediction there. They won the Constructors last year. They were just going to keep on coming. It's pretty easy to comment about on that. Lando Norris, I didn't think was going to win the drivers, but oh my god, Lando Norris. And Oscar, honestly, I think I would have said Oscar to win the championship more than Lando at the start of the season. When it reached a halfway point, I definitely would have said Oscar, because Oscar was leading the championship and Lando was struggling. And then after Netherlands, Lando had that engine failure. But oh my god, that car was a rocket ship. The fact that Max could stay in the championship fight until the final race, I think just speaks levels of how goddamn good Max Verstappen is, because Jesus Christ, I don't think we've seen a faster car than that McLaren. I'm gonna say it right now. That year, last year's McLaren, the 2025 McLaren, was faster and just better. Not comparing it to the rest of the grid, just in general, it was more of a dominant force than the W11. Mainly because it had 2 competent drivers in it. But yeah, if it wasn't for Mad Max at the goddamn wheel, I genuinely do think that McLaren could have wrapped up the championship in goddamn like September. But anyway, onto the Drivers' Championship. We got 3 points in the Constructors, 3 bang-on places, but in last place, I put Ollie Behrman? Nah. I sort of don't believe the fact that I put Ollie Behrman. I mean, I have it all written down that I put in that order, so I'm going to assume I did. But I put Ollie Behrman? No. I mean, instead it was a mixture of Jack Doohan and Franco Colapinto, who came 20th and 21st. So I've just sort of merged them together because how am I supposed to predict driver changes? You know? Like, come on. How much do you expect from me here? But yeah, I honestly wasn't rating Ollie Behrman at all. I thought that Haas would be slow. Like I said in the Constructors one, I thought they'd be saving all their resources for 2026. I didn't think they'd try in 2025. I don't know if they actually did do that because Ollie Behrman was actually just such a good driver. So honestly, just props to him. Meanwhile, Alpine was just utter dog shit. Sorry to Jack Doohan and Franco Colapinto for driving it, but into P19, I put Isaac Hadjar. It was Gabriel Bortoleto. Once again, I think I just went on the face of it's a rookie. I don't think the V-Carb's going to be that good. So let's just stick Hadjar in 19th. Looking back on it, honestly, it wasn't a bad guess. I mean, I wasn't expecting Isaac Hadjar to be faster than both Tsunoda and Liam Lawson. With the lack of experience Hadjar has over the other two. So honestly, props to him. Meanwhile, Gabriel Bortoleto, honestly, he was still such a good driver despite being 19th. This grid's actually been really good this year. Apart from that second seat at Alpine. P18, I said Esteban Ocon. It was Pierre Gasly. I did get one thing right. The constructor that would be in last place would have their drivers in 18th and 20th. I just said it would be Haas and not Alpine. Don't shoot me, bro. It's not my fault. But yeah, you really can't blame me for that. Especially considering Haas in the past. P17 then I think it is. I put Gabriel Bortoleto. It was Yuki Tsunoda. Now that's quite funny to me because once again, I'm going to make the point again. If I knew Tsunoda was going to be in that Red Bull car, I genuinely would have put him even higher than wherever I did put him. So the fact he's finished that low is genuinely insulting to the whole Red Bull family. No, I don't mean to like upset you or anything, Yuki. You're a good driver, but yeah. P16 was Lance Stroll. I put Nico Hulkenberg. I wasn't really rating the Sauber that much, but I mean it finished ahead of the Haas. Both drivers finished ahead of both Haas's and Hadjar. But instead it was Lance Stroll. Now I think this just came from me overrating the Aston Martin this year, but I did think Lance Stroll might lock in with Adrian Newey's car. He might next year, I don't know. P15 then was Esteban Ocon. I put Yuki Tsunoda. I've already said it, if I knew he was going to go to Red Bull, I probably would have put him even higher. So the fact I've put him at 15th is genuinely, I'm going to say it. Putting Yuki Tsunoda at 15th was actually a good guess. Considering the fact that V-Carb was faster than they were, and the fact I didn't know he was going to go to Red Bull, props to Yuki. I mean, props to me for getting as close as I did with Yuki. Instead, it was Esteban Ocon, which I think just went amiss as a driver. He was just sort of there. I don't actually really remember an Ocon highlight, but to be fair, I don't like Ocon. P14 then was Liam Lawson. I put Carlos Sainz. I think this was just me underrating the V-Carb. Oh wait, no, Liam Lawson was in Red Bull, wasn't he? So I did believe in the second seat curse. Okay, that might make a bit more sense now. Now I did think they'd keep him. I mean, he did fucking worse than Perez did in that Red Bull car. Meanwhile, yeah, I think I genuinely would have got closer if he was in V-Carb all season than where I actually put him. Carlos Sainz, I think I was just. I don't even know what I was doing. I I underrated the Williams. I just said Albon would be better than Carlos Sainz. Screw it, let's put Carlos Sainz at 14th, is that? Yeah, 14th. So I don't really have a comment on me putting Carlos Sainz there, apart from the fact that I should have maybe known Williams might be better this year. But also at the same time, I'm going to use the excuse again. I didn't think they'd put so much into this year and instead wait for next year. Let me use that excuse because it is valid. How am I supposed to know what teams are going to do in the final year of regulations? But yeah, Liam Lawson in 14th just seems a little bit weird to me. Into 13th spot then, I put Alex Albon. So yeah, I put the Williams drivers right next to each other, but it was actually Ollie Behrman. Ollie Behrman was rapid this year, and I think that might be one of my worst predictions. There's a worse one coming. But yeah, I just don't think I was rating the Williams this year. I mean, I put them both lower than where they actually finished. I think they both got top 10, didn't they? Yeah. So, not really a comment on that, but Ollie Behrman, honestly, I would honestly love to see Ollie Behrman in a better car because the fact he outperformed his teammate that's been in F1 since, was it 2017? I think 2016, 2017. Ocon's been in the sport for. So for Ollie Behrman, a rookie whose only 2 races was Saudi Arabia and Ferrari, and was it Brazil in Haas? I might have that wrong, in 2024. That's his only 2 races of experience before getting in that Haas car full time. So the fact you lose to him is genuinely a bit embarrassing on Ocon. But honestly, yeah, props to Ollie Behrman. I can't wait to see you in a faster car, mate. Please be soon. I think when Lewis Hamilton leaves, Ollie Behrman will get in that car. And I genuinely think Ferrari might be world champion. You heard it here first. Into P12, it was Isaac Hadjar. I put Lance Stroll. I think this was me just overrating the Aston Martin just a little bit too much. I mean, the midfield was quite close this year, in my opinion. I might be wrong on that. But yeah, the midfield was probably as close as you could probably imagine it to be. Wasn't the worst season for the midfield. And Aston Martin still did pretty well, especially Fernando Alonso in the latter season. Definitely not at the start. What did he have, like 5 DNFs in 7 races? That was god awful. But no, instead it was Isaac Hadjar, who was probably... Yeah, honestly, I'm looking back on it, I'm seeing the results, and I think it's very clear that he's the second best Red Bull driver in the last, 5 years. He's been better than the best Liam Lawson that we've seen. He's been better than the best Yuki Tsunoda we've seen. It's the best Sergio Perez we've seen since he's been at Red Bull. It's the best fucking put Nick de Vries in that list for some reason. I don't know why, but yeah. Hadjar honestly deserves that Red Bull seat this year. So, props to him. P11 then was Nico Hulkenberg. Nico Hulkenberg actually did really well. Obviously, I'm not supposed to predict a podium. Especially for Hulkenberg. I feel like if you put money on Hulkenberg to get a podium, you just get hunted down by the FBI or something. There's nothing really that I can comment on with Nico Hulkenberg finishing P11. What I can comment on though now, and I'm trying to ignore it. Why the fuck did I put Jack Doohan to finish P11? Please, somebody, please answer me. I rated the Alpine a little bit, but holy shit, a rookie, Jack fucking Doohan, to finish P11. He didn't even last 4 races at Alpine. We're not even going to comment on how bad that car was in general, but he was a shit driver. Obviously, I'm not supposed to predict Franco Colapinto to be that. I've put him in there just because I've merged them both together because they both got 0 points. They were both dead last in the championship. But oh my god, he was awful. And even if Franco Colapinto did do something when he finally replaced him, I don't think that would have revived the fact I still put Jack Doohan to be P fucking 11. can I please be checked on my mental health? Can I be sent to some fucking like mental institution where I can have my brain checked out? Because holy shit, I put Jack Doohan to finish 11th. Anyway, we've calmed down. On to the top 10. It doesn't start bright. I in P10, I put Pierre Gasly. It was Fernando Alonso. Honestly, I've been getting into the Chinese Air Hockey League recently. I've heard it's a really good sport, really competitive. Yeah, it's I'd recommend it to anyone. Like, honestly, it's such a good sport. The Chinese Air Hockey League. It's probably the greatest league you've ever seen. But no, in all seriousness, why the fuck did I predict Alpine 10 and 11th? There's no avoiding it. There's always one really bad prediction, and it's Jack Doohan 11th and Pierre Gasly 10th. Props to Fernando Alonso to getting P10 in that car. P9, I put Fernando Alonso, so actually I overrated him. It was actually Carlos Sainz, who I have spoken about Williams way too much, but I really badly, oh my god. I'm wearing a hat and I need to itch my forehead. I really badly predicted Williams and Alpine, apparently. But for Carlos Sainz, props to getting P9. I'm not going to hold it there. Carlos Sainz, you're a wonderful driver. Well done on getting P9. I'm sorry that I didn't predict you higher. I love you, Carlos. P8 then was Alex Albon. Oh god, it just gets worse. I've just seen. I've put George Russell 8th. I've said for the top 4 teams to all cover the top 8 spaces in the drivers. That means I've put the Red Bull driver. I've put fucking Liam Lawson in the top 8. Oh no. Well done to Alex Albon on getting P8, but I think I'm going to go find a gun and shoot myself in the back of the head. Oh no. P7 was Kimi Antonelli. I put Liam Lawson. No. I put Liam Lawson. Why the fuck did I put Liam Lawson? Someone please riddle me on why the fuck I put Liam Lawson. Well done to Kimi Antonelli on getting P7. I genuinely thought you'd do better than that. But at the same time, I really can't complain. Yeah, I put him P7. It was actually Lewis Hamilton. I just can't get over some of these predictions. You're just looking at this now. Kimi Antonelli, I predicted P6. Liam Lawson P7. George Russell P8 and Pierre Gasly P10. Honestly, just end the video here. I am god awful. Let's just move on to P5. It was Charles Leclerc. Oh no, I've just remembered what I put. Where I put Charles Leclerc. I put Lewis Hamilton. So honestly, am I wrong? I just got the Ferrari drivers confused, it's really not my fault. Let's not talk about where I actually put Charles Leclerc, so let's not say I got them quite confused. But no, I really can't take myself serious. I'm trying to do this with a straight face, and all I can do is bloody laugh at myself. Why have I done this to myself? I am god awful. But move on to the top 4, please, quickly. Well done on Charles Leclerc on getting there. You should have had a win this season. Unfortunately, you didn't. P4 then, I put Verstappen. I'm a Max fan. I support Verstappen. I am a Verstappen fan. I am part of MV3 this year, MV1 last year. That's why I've written down MV1 on the screen. Why did I put in P4? I really thought my GOAT would go amiss. Instead, it was George Russell who got P4. And honestly, props to George Russell. Well done to George Russell. Did he have one win or two? I remember Canada, but I feel like he had a second win. I don't know. But he genuinely, I think I said it in the constructors, but George Russell was probably the greatest driver that wasn't in McLaren this season. Of course, Red Bull was a bit of a tractor. I mean, if we ignore the Hungary race, Verstappen probably would have been world champion, and that would have made these predictions a lot worse. But George Russell was probably the most underrated driver this season, in my opinion. I mean, according to my bloody predictions, he's underrated. And the Williams drivers, actually, let's not go through who I called underrated and who I called overrated. P3 then. Does it get better? Does it get worse? It gets better. We got it right. Oscar Piastri, P3. Let's go. He was a driver. Oscar Piastri got P3. I said he'd get P3. It's not really out much else I can say on that. I thought he'd be slower than Lando Norris, and he was. I said he'd be faster than Verstappen, and he wasn't. I said he'd be faster than the rest of the grid, and he was. Apparently, I said, I'm not even going to bring up that point I was about to say, actually. We'll just wait until that actually comes up on the screen. This is god awful. I'm disappointed in myself. But yeah, Oscar Piastri, probably one of the best. And I'm going to hold my hands up. This isn't the Verstappen being salty at Norris agenda thing. But Piastri was probably the most deserving world champion this season. Out of all the second places that you've ever seen, Oscar Piastri would be the most deserving that never won it. Out of everyone who hasn't won a championship and deserved a championship. Oh god, I'm going to bring back 2021 trauma to Lewis Hamilton fans. Oh god, I shouldn't have said that. P2, let's just move on. P2 was Verstappen. I said Lando Norris. Yeah, I really underdid my go, didn't I? I'm sorry, Verstappen. I guess I'm becoming a Ferrari fan then. I clearly don't know where my own driver sits in the standings. He got P2. I said Lando Norris. I don't even want to talk about... I don't even want to talk about who comes next. Lando Norris, honestly, I did just think that Lando Norris is just a second place driver. But also when you can add into the fact that even if you are second the whole season, you could still win the championship. You could probably win the championship without winning a race. And Lando nearly proved that. I mean, Lando was still really good this season. A lot of wins. But I put him P2 because I honestly just didn't think McLaren quite had it in them. I didn't think Lando quite had it in him. I don't really know what my reason was to put in Lando P2. But in P1, look away now. I just want to take a minute of silence just to just to let this brew. The fact that I put Charles Leclerc to win the championship and he finished P5. I just want to let that brew for a minute. Congratulations to Lando Norris on winning the championship. Whilst out of the three that was in Abu Dhabi with a chance of winning the championship, I thought that you would have the least likely chance of winning it. Not saying in Abu Dhabi, when Lando Norris was leading the championship, Lando Norris had the lowest chance of winning. I'm saying out of Piastri, Norris and Max, I thought Lando had the least chance of winning it, despite putting Max and Oscar below him in my predictions. But yeah, congratulations to Lando Norris, and I'm really, really sorry to both Charles Leclerc and Ferrari. I feel like I put in some sort of copium there. I don't really know what to say. Actually, wait a minute. I do know what to say. You should subscribe. Thank you and goodbye.